Hey, this is Kevin from Breakdance, and we're excited to share with you some of the new features within Breakdance 2.4. We've introduced a new menu custom area. We've added support for ACF Flexible Content. This means you can now use ACF Flexible Content within Breakdance. We've added improvements to editing images within Breakdance, as well as the quick navigator. We've introduced a preview button to show you exactly what your site looks like without ever leaving Breakdance. We've included 2 new elements. You can now add conditions to your form builder actions, as well as many other fixes, polishes, and enhancements throughout Breakdance. So without any further delay, let's check out some of the new features. We've included some great improvements to the menu custom area that allows you to design your menu exactly as you wish. So in this example, we want to add some icons to some of our menu items. And we actually don't need this menu dropdown, but we are going to be kind of creating something similar to this. I'm going to delete that for now. First, we want to recreate the homepage button, and we want to add an icon to this button. So let's add a menu custom area. And now we're going to set the link to just the homepage, and let's add an icon element and a text element. The text element is going to say home, and our icon is going to be, let's look up house, and let's use that. We're not going to set a link here, and we're going to set the icon size to 25. With that set, let's go back to our menu custom area. Let's go over to our design tab, and under the advanced, we now have 2 new options called inherit link styles and icons inherit link styles. Let's enable both of those, and we'll see that both the text element and the icon we added now use our menu styles. If we change our menu styles, this will get passed down to our icon. Next, let's go to layout. We'll set it to horizontal, and we're going to add a gap of 10 pixels. And we'll go ahead and save this as a design preset, and we'll call it menu with icon. With all that saved, we can now get rid of this menu link, and there we have a homepage button with an icon. Let's also do this for the shop page. So let's create another menu custom area. We're going to bring this right next to the shop page, and we'll actually go ahead and get rid of that link. We'll set this to shop. And again, let's add an icon and a text. The text this time is going to say shop all, and our icon is going to be, let's look for a store or shop icon. Okay, let's select that. We'll set our size to 25. And we're going to go ahead and go to our design tab, and we're going to use the menu with icon preset. And for this, we also want to have a drop down so that users can select any of our product categories. So let's enable the drop down, and you can choose 2 options. You can use standard controls, which is where you can add columns with links, and we'll see how that looks right now. Or you can use a global block. And in this case, we are going to use a global block, but let's go ahead and create it. So let's save this. Let's go up to our quick navigator. We're going to hit the plus icon, select global block, and we're going to say term loop and hit enter. Let's enter our term loop global block. And we're going to add a term loop builder here. We're going to select this category's homepage global block because we've already created that. And for our query, we're going to make sure we are loading product categories. We're going to hide any empty ones. Let's go to our list here, and we're going to set it to a slider. Then we're going to set the slider controls. Let's go ahead and do slides preview is 3. And now let's save this. Let's now go back to our main header, and we're going to select that menu custom area again. And for the global block, we're going to choose term loop. Now, if we open this up, we'll see we have all the categories available to us. However, the container is a little small. So let's go ahead and break off our design preset here. And we'll set the drop-down width to, let's do 80 VH. And we'll see that this now looks a lot better. Let's go ahead and try 100 VH. Okay, so that looks great. Let's save this. And now let's view it on the front end. And so there you can see we have our brand new icons here for the homepage and the shop all, as well as a global block that displays all of our categories.
Let's take a look at the Advanced Custom Fields Flexible Content support in Breakdance. So here I have a services page, and on it I have an Advanced Custom Fields Flexible Content field, which I've filled out with content. And let's open up the page, and this is all rendering with Breakdance. Let's go ahead and add another feature section right here. So I'll go back to the page, I'll close the existing fields, and then I'll go add row, and let's choose dual column feature left. Let's drag it up here. And let's just call this my 3rd feature, text description for my 3rd feature, learn more, and the button URL will just be the homepage / feature 3. And let's choose an image for this feature. I don't think we've used that one yet. And let's go ahead and update the page. And now let's take a look on the front end. And that third feature is now showing up. Let's take a look at how I've set this up in Advanced Custom Fields, and then I'll show you how to set it all up in Breakdance. So in Advanced Custom Fields under Post Type, I created a Services Post Type. That's what you're seeing right there. In Advanced Custom Fields under Field Groups, I created a Services Page Field Group. I've applied that to the post type that is equal to service, and then I've created a Flexible Content field in this field group, and I've created 5 different layouts. And here I've specified the fields I want the user to be able to fill out. Now let's take a look at how we set things up in Breakdance for this to render. So in Breakdance, I created a template for the services page. It applies to the location single services. And let's open this template up in Breakdance. I'll do that in a new tab so I can show you the global blocks as well. So here it is in Breakdance, and we're using the flexible content element. So you go to add flexible content, there's the element, and the flexible content element lets you choose the flexible content field you want to render data from. In this case, I've chosen this one. And then it lets you choose the global blocks you want to associate with each row layout. So here I've configured my blocks. I chose for the hero row layout, I want to use this global block called hero that I've created. Let's go over to the Breakdance global block section and take a look at the global blocks. Here are the global blocks I've created. Let's take a look at one in Breakdance. Here is the hero global block. Here we've wired up the design to the associated fields in Advanced Custom Fields using Breakdance's dynamic data functionality. To get a preview, we'll go to the preview dropdown, click settings, choose the field we want to preview, and it's working right now because the hero section is the first row. Otherwise, we would have to specify the row index if we wanted to preview, for example, the second or third or fourth row in the field group. Now, let's learn how to add more fields to our flexible content field and create an associated design in Breakdance. So here I am in ACF field groups. Let's edit the field group. Let's edit the field itself, and let's add another layout. So we'll click add layout, and I'm going to call this layout call to action. And for the fields, I'm not sure what I'm going to put here yet. Let's actually find the design we want to use. So I'm going to leave this tab open. I'm going to go to Breakdance, global blocks, open this in a new tab. Let's add the global block we're going to use for our call to action. So click add global block, call to action, add global block. Let's go ahead and edit this global block in Breakdance. And let's find a design from the library. I'm using the Samba design set here. Let's find call to actions, and let's find one that we like. This one's fine, so we're going to use this. Let's delete the image. We don't want that here. And we're going to let the user customize this and this and this. So that means we need to specify a heading field, a button text field, a second button text field, and two button URL fields. So let's add a field back in Advanced Custom Fields. We will call this one heading. It'll be a text field. Let's add another field. We'll call this one button 1 text. Let's add another field. We'll call this button 1 URL. We'll make this one a URL field. Let's add another field. This is going to be called button 2 text, and another field called button 2 URL, which is a URL field. Okay, that's what we need. Let's go ahead and save the changes there and save changes once more. Okay, now let's go to our services page and edit it. And let's add a row that uses that call to action. So add row, we'll choose call to action, and let's fill this out. Let's get you started will be our heading. Button 1 text would be get it now. URL is going to be /purchase. Button 2 text is going to be contact us. URL is going to be /support. Okay, great. We filled in our data. We've created our fields in Advanced Custom Fields. Let's wire it up in Breakdance. So let's go back to our global block and let's choose the heading and open the dynamic data dialog. And let's scroll down to our call to action heading field, and we'll link that up. Let's go to our button, open the dynamic data dialog. Let's choose button 1 text. For the link, let's set that dynamically to button 1 URL. Let's do the same for button 2. We'll set the text to button 2 text, and we'll set the URL to button 2 URL. And now let's make sure the preview actually works. So let's go to preview. Let's choose settings. Let's choose that field we want to actually preview. And I think that was the 6th row, was it? Yes, that was the 6th row. So there we go. Let's get you started. Get it now. Contact us. That preview works. Now let's check that it all works on the front end. So let's go over to the services page, and we need to choose a global block from the dropdown for the layout call to action, because we actually haven't done that yet. So let's go to Breakdance. Let's open the services template. And once this flexible content field loads, let's click it. And then let's go to blocks. And as you can see, we haven't chosen a block for that call to action layout yet. Let's choose add block, layout, call to action, block, call to action. And there we go. Now it actually works. Let's save and take a look on the front end for real. And voila, there you go. Advanced custom fields, flexible content.
Let's now look at some of the improvements we've introduced in the builder. First, you can double click any image to open the media library. And we'll also see that the image we've selected within Breakdance is now also selected in the media library. We've also introduced some new features to the Quick Navigator. So if you go to the Quick Navigator, you can now edit the settings for your templates, including the title. You can also set your conditions, priority, and whether or not that template is active. This goes the same for global blocks. You can edit the settings for a global block and change the name. The last great feature we've introduced is the preview button, which lets you hide all of the Breakdance UI and see the site exactly as it would be shown. You can click close preview to get back to the builder. One of the new elements in Breakdance 2.4 is the overlapping images element. We'll go ahead and take a look at how to use this now. Currently, we have a pre-existing advanced tabs that creates our portfolio page here. We're just going to actually replace this with an overlapped images element. Let's go ahead and delete that current element and add an overlapped images element. And let's select 4 images. So we'll go ahead and select these 4 and we'll add them to our page. And now we're going to go to the miscellaneous section and we're going to set our default images width to 25%. Actually, let's do 50%. Okay, and this is so we can actually fill out all 4 corners. Now let's go to our individual images. We'll select our first image. We're going to set the position to top left. Well, not top left because that's what it is. We'll set the position to top right. We'll select our second image. And we'll go ahead and set that to bottom left. And then we'll select our last image and we'll set it to bottom right. And so we've just created a quick 4-image grid here. You could make this much more complex, but this is just a quick example of how to use the overlapped images element to create unique and dynamic layouts. Next new element we have is called the hover swapper. And this can be a great element to add some interaction and different information as the user works through your page. So for example, let's say we want to add another image here. Let's add a hover swapper. We'll drag our first image in, and then we will duplicate this and choose a different image. Let's select the sharks in this case, because that's a pretty cool picture. And so now when a user hovers over the image, they'll be able to see the 2 different images available. We can change the effect that we have. So we could do slide left, slide right, and slide above and slide below. We can also set the duration to, let's say, 3000 milliseconds, which is going to make a really slow slide. Or we could do something faster, such as 200, right? This is going to be a lot quicker. Almost the default. Let's do 100. So that's really quick. A better option might be something like 1000, right? So that's going to be just enough to change it a little bit. Let's save this and now preview it. It's a nice, easy way for users to see something different. You can put anything you want in the hover swapper. It defaults to 2 images, but you could put a button with an arrow that then adds some information when the user hovers over it. You could tell the user to hover over it to learn more. So there's a lot of great use cases for this hover swapper. New in Breakdance 2.4 is the option to run actions conditionally within your forms. So let's go ahead and take a look at this now. We have a join newsletter checkbox, and what we want is for the drip action to only run if that box is checked. So let's open our drip action. And down here, we can see run action conditionally. We'll enable this and we'll add a new condition. And we'll say when the field join newsletter equals join newsletter, we're going to then run this action on the front end when a user submits the message. Otherwise, if the user did not select join the newsletter option, the drip action will not trigger in Breakdance and the user won't be added to our newsletter list. Opting in for newsletters is just one example of how to use form actions, but there are many other ways you can use conditions to trigger when your actions do and don't run. In Breakdance 2.4, you can now show second images on hover for your product list and shop page elements. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to do this now. So we have our shop page element selected, and we'll see that there are 2 products down here that have additional images in the product gallery. We'd like to show these images when a user hovers over these products. So let's go to product lists, elements, images, and now we're going to select this show second image on hover toggle. And just like that, we can see our secondary images when we hover over the products. You can also set the transition duration to a different number to make the change slower or faster according to your design needs. So this is just many of the great features and improvements that have been included in Breakdance 2.4. You can view the changelog on our website for all the other tweaks, enhancements, and fixes that we've included in Breakdance 2.4. We're always excited to see how you use Breakdance to take your websites to the next level.